Welcome to this edition of Bible Stories. Tonight I will be reading the first of a three-part series about David, a king of Israel often described as a man after God's heart. The first part is entitled The Courageous Shepherd Boy. In the ancient land of Israel, a great war raged between the Israelites and the Philistines. The towering Philistine army, led by their fearsome warrior Goliath, struck terror into the hearts of the Israelite soldiers. Goliath was a giant of a man, wearing heavy armor and carrying a massive spear. He would come out every day and challenge the Israelites to send out their best warrior to face him in single combat. But not one of the Israelite soldiers dared to accept his challenge. In a small village nearby, there lived a young shepherd boy named David. He was the youngest son of Jesse, a humble and kind-hearted man. David had a strong faith in God and loved spending his days caring for his family's sheep in the hills. He was known for his bravery and had even saved the sheep from the fierce attacks of lions and bears. The people in the village admired David's courage, but they worried about his safety should he ever join the army. One day, David's three oldest brothers, Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah, joined the Israelite army to fight against the Philistines. Jesse, their father, worried about his sons and asked David to take them some food and check on their well-being. David eagerly agreed and set out early in the morning with loaves of bread and cheeses for his brothers and their commander. As David reached the battlefield, he was astonished to see the vast Philistine army on one side and the Israelite army on the other, with Goliath standing in the middle. The giant bellowed his challenge, shaking the very ground beneath him. The Israelite soldiers trembled in fear, but David couldn't understand why they were so afraid. Curious, David asked the soldiers standing nearby, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers looked at David, surprised by his boldness. "That's Goliath, the Philistine champion," one of them replied. "He has been challenging us for days, and no one dares to fight him." Upon hearing this, David's heart burned with righteous anger. "I will go and fight him," he declared. The soldiers scoffed at the idea. "You're just a boy. Goliath will crush you." But David stood firm. "I have faced lions and bears while protecting my father's sheep," he said. "The Lord who delivered me from their claws will surely deliver me from this Philistine." Word of David's brave offer reached King Saul, who sent for him. David stood before the king, resolute and unafraid. "I will go and fight Goliath," David repeated. King Saul hesitated. "You are just a young boy, and Goliath has been a warrior since his youth." "I know," David replied, "but the Lord is with me. He will guide my hand, and I will defeat Goliath." Seeing David's unwavering faith, King Saul agreed. "Go then, and may the Lord be with you." Before David set out to face Goliath, King Saul offered him his royal armor. But David declined, for it was too heavy and unfamiliar. Instead, he chose to trust in God's strength and took only his shepherd's staff, a sling, and a pouch of smooth stones from the nearby stream. As David approached Goliath, the giant laughed in contempt. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he taunted. "No," David replied firmly, "but I come to you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." With a steady hand, David placed a stone in his sling and whirled it around. He released the stone, and it soared through the air with astonishing speed. The stone struck Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell to the ground, defeated. The Israelite soldiers and Philistine army stood in stunned silence as they witnessed the impossible. David had triumphed over the mighty Goliath, and the news of his victory spread like wildfire. In the days that followed, David's bravery and faith became an inspiration to all. The people marveled at the young shepherd boy who had faced the giant with unwavering courage. The name of David echoed throughout the land, and his legend began to grow. Little did they know that this was only the beginning of the extraordinary journey of David, the shepherd boy who would become a great king of Israel.